Yup. See, man, Junius with me always is my boy D Knight.
Yes, sir.
All right, and if it's blessed, you already know it's the FNS Neighborhood Squad. Sorry, Friendly Neighborhood Savage. It's the gang. It's the gang. Anyways, we gonna keep that. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Hey, yo, this time we talking following versus numbers. So let me be clear and let me break it down for you guys real quick. What we're basically talking about is a lot of these artists in the game right now are doing a lot of things based off numbers and sales. Let me be clear and let people know, sales doesn't always necessarily mean great music. That is a number one fact.
And unfortunately, the same as the other way around. Great music doesn't always equate to sales.
Absolutely. There's artists out there who have fantastic catalogs, but unfortunately they don't.
Incredibly talented.
Extremely talented, but unfortunately they don't get the sales or the numbers. Some of the stuff that gets sales and numbers is just trash, to be honest. It's just filler. I.e. 6ix9ine. Like, you look on his YouTube page, I think Gooba had 480 million views.
That's some of the best numbers in hip hop right now.
480 million views, my nigga.
Take that in.
That doesn't make sense. Like, yo, I think Trolls he did with Nicki Minaj, 214 million. And I think he just did another one called Yaya, I believe. He dropped a video for that one. That one did, I think, it's almost at 100 million. Right?
I believe so, something like that.
And it's like,
still going.
It's
still
like,
growing.
come on, bro. Like, are you serious? This dude's doing numbers out here like that? But then you look at artists like Big Crit, who is amazing.
Rap,
amazing.
produce,
everything, right? And he's like, yo, he's not touching 480 million, which he absolutely should, because he's producing quality music. Let me break it down again. So let's do this. So for cult-like following artists, just off the top of my head, artists who I feel like they're not necessarily like, and obviously there's tons more. I'm sure people are gonna be screaming like, no, what about him? What about her? This is just my list, like just off the top of my head. Youngboy, NBA Youngboy. I feel like he has a cult-like following. He doesn't really do like radio records, but I like his music. Currency. I think Currency.
Hot spitter.
Spitter Andretti. Currency is one of my favorite artists of all time. I ride for that nigga because he puts out quality music. I don't care what anyone says. Check his mixtapes. Ain't no one been in the game as long as he has and has been putting out fire. The boy puts out heat. 67 Turbojet, I ain't gotta say much more than that. Coast to Coast, the one he just did with Fendi, from 808 Mafia. Come on, fam.
Jet Life.
Jet Life to the next life, babe. What you mean? Plan of Attack, with trademark the Skydiver and Young Roddy. Come on, B. I know his catalog because I'm a real fan. Man, I'm a big fan. But he's one of, like I said, I think the last time he really did like a big mainstream like studio album was Canal Confidential. That's when I remember he was on BET for that album. And he was even saying, he's like, I usually don't do this. He's like, he usually doesn't do the radio stuff. Cause anyone that knows, like Currency, anyone who's a big fan of Jet Life, they have the clothing, they know about the Reebok collab and everything like that. Like, you know what I mean? So he's an artist. Joey Badass, that's another artist who is extremely talented, who's a dope spitter. But you know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily get like a lot of radio play, but he has a huge following. Right? Who else? Young Dolph. Man, when I'm in the gym, not even when I'm in the gym, sometimes when I'm just in the whip and I'm feeling myself, I'm throwing some Dolph. Throwing out some Young Dolph, B. Him and Key Glock, I like Dolph's music a lot. And he's one of those artists where he doesn't do radio really records. He's not really doing that.
Same idea as Youngboy.
Yeah, right. But their music bangs. Like it's pure slappers. Who else? J. Cole. Obviously, J. Cole. J. Cole obviously has had mainstream success, but he still has that like cult like following. You feel me? Because he's not. It's like people. What's one thing people always say? Oh, yeah, but Cole never puts out. Cole always takes forever to come out with music, or Cole will drop something and then disappear and stuff like that. And oh, I can't. Some people, oh, I can't listen to Cole because he's boring. That is blasphemous. You're not listening to Cole. Like Cole's one. Man.
But the thing is, though, Cole doesn't need everybody to listen.
He doesn't. Yo, that one fan base that will never die, it like J. Cole's fan base, nah. Like, you ain't gotta say much more than that. Friday Night Lights, the Come Up mixtapes. Come on, babe. There's a song, Born Sinner. But I'm just talking off even just as mixtapes. Like, Too Deep for the intro, I could listen to that song every day and I would not get tired of it. Fun fact, sample Didn't You Know off Erykah Badu, which is a great song as well. But that's one of those songs where I could listen to every day and I would never get tired of it.
Every day.
Yeah. That's the song I actually play every day. I usually wake up, that's one of the first songs I blast in the morning. Cause he's spitting his heart out. You can feel like J. Cole's one of those artists to me, he makes music you can really feel. I like when artists take their time with their craft. And you can tell when an artist takes his time, like and that even ties into even mixtapes and albums. You can tell when an artist, sometimes there's artists out now putting out better mixtapes than other artists putting out albums.
That's a fact.
And that's a fact. Just because, and I feel when it comes to mixtapes versus albums, honestly, lately I found myself blasting a lot more mixtapes, a lot more tracks off mixtapes and going on that piff. Shout out that piff. Going on that piff and listening to more mixtapes just because of just the quality of music you're getting. Albums, I feel like a lot of times albums, they have to have, like artists get pressured from the label to put out filler records, like radio records and stuff like that. But mixtapes, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think albums are really more for like the industry, whereas mixtapes are more for the actual consumer, the listeners.
I wouldn't say consumer, I'd say fans. Like fans. Real fans.
Right. Yeah, fans.
Real connoisseurs. Like, I feel like...
Absolutely. Whereas the albums are more for radio,
exactly.
For endorsements, for commercials, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. When, as you have it with mixtapes, because you could sample whatever you want. You don't necessarily need as much, you don't really need clearance on a mixtape. You know what I mean? You don't really need it. You have more freedom to do what you want. You don't necessarily have to have pressure or filler records. You could really put time, energy, and quality and put whoever you want on your mixtape. You don't have to worry about labels and stuff like that. So honestly, I feel like mixtapes are out here winning just because of what you can do, more freedom, and just the quality of music you've really been getting off the mixtapes. I'll even throw it to you like this. I even use Drake as an example. If you're reading this, is too late. And What a Time to Be Alive. What else? So Far Gone. Those were mixtapes. Really. Like,
if you're reading This Is Too Late, went crazy.
Even it's more of a mixtape. When you think about it, it wasn't really an album. It was a mixtape because he didn't do any videos for it. And if you're reading This Is Too Late, I remember he just dropped it randomly in January. He just dropped it. It was more of a mixtape. Because his studio album, Thank Me Later was a studio album. Right? Nothing Was the Same studio album. Right? Take Care, studio album. But I'm talking like So Far Gone was a mixtape. What a Time to Be Alive was more of a mixtape. Facts. Right? If you're reading This Is Too Late, more of a mixtape. Right? Personally, I think Drake's mixtapes are better than his albums, other than Take Care. With the exception of Take Care, I listen to more of Drake's mixtapes than I do like Comeback Season. I still listen to Comeback Season.
You think it's a requirement that mixtapes be free?
What do you mean?
Like free, you don't gotta pay for them.
It's a requirement, you think?
No, I'm asking you. Do you think it's a requirement for a mixtape for it to be free, or is it something that?
That's a good question. I hope
you gotta pay for it. Does that turn it into an album now? Like now you can't say it's a mixtape anymore.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question. That's a really good question. But okay, we're gonna put that away. We'll get that back to that one. But let me give you another artist that's been putting out mixtape after mixtape. Look at Fabolous.
Okay.
The last album he really put out was actually no. Well, no, yeah, because the last album he really put out, studio album, was Young OG. I think it was the Young OG project. But Summertime Shootouts, those are considered mixtapes.
Right.
Those are considered mixtapes. The Soul Tape, my nigga says tape in it. Those are mixtapes.
Right.
He's another one of those artists, same thing. Like, he's always gonna eat off those mixtapes. Those mixtapes are classics. Soul Tape, 1, 2, 3, classics. Summertime Shootouts, those are more so, that's more of that mixtape vibe, to be honest. It has more of that mixtape feel to it, personally. Right?
Yeah, but it's still,
considered out. But that's the thing. There's such it's such a blurred line. Like, you have artists that put out. I feel like some artists put them out as mixtapes,
but really it's an album.
Really, it's an album just because it sells. Right?
Yeah.
That's another thing too. That's another thing with artists. You have artists now just putting out projects, but they're saying, oh, it's just a mixtape.
Or call it whatever.
Call it whatever. Oh, it's a mixtape. It's not really it's an album, but it's a mixtape. Just because of how album sales go and everything like that.
Yeah, you know what? I think if you call it a mixtape, then you can lower the expectations.
100%. A lot of artists, if they say it's a mixtape, then it's like, okay, if the sales don't do so well, it's like, okay, who cares? It's a mixtape. It's just a mixtape. Oh, it's just a mixtape I put out. Fab won't have that problem because the Summertime Shootouts all of them are dope. I listen to all of them. They're all dope. Fabo's always putting out good music. He's another artist I feel like, classic music. Obviously, he had the verses with Jada. I think Jada won that one, though. A lot of people say Jada won. Jada's another artist who's super dope as well. But yeah, like, going back to what we were saying, a lot of artists put it out as a mixtape just because if the numbers and everything like that, if it doesn't sell well, okay, who cares? It's just a mixtape. It's just some stuff I was putting out. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Fact. Okay, but anyways, we got a little off topic. Let's get back to it. Cult-like following versus sales. Another artist, I even say artist, a group that kind of started the whole cult-like following was Wu-Tang.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm still in the cult.
Wu-Tang, I feel, is what really started out, at least for hip-hop anyway. Obviously, you have like other genres, but I'm saying for hip-hop wise, it was Wu-Tang. I had the video game for PS1. I remember playing it.
Say a word, man. There was a Wu-Tang video game.
Yeah, Shaolin Temple. I remember playing it.
About that.
Oh man, it was dope. It was like that was the Fight for NY before Fight for NY came out. Before Def Jam Fight for NY came out, Wu-Tang had their video game out for PS1. Go ahead and look it up. Dope game. But yeah, that's what they really started. Clothing. I know for me, I had the game. I have a sweater, Wu-Tang sweater. I have a hat. They even had foam posits. Nike even had some shoes dedicated to the Wu-Tang brand. Like, they really, the clothing, the sweaters, the man.
Of course, the music.
Of course, the music, right? But that's the thing. That's a reflection of how great and how big of an impact they were, right? Because they're following. Wu-Tang can go on tour anytime. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do good numbers.
They're gonna sell out, man.
They may not be
anywhere in the world too.
They may not be doing like huge arenas and stadiums. Like, they may not be selling out. They may not be doing Chris Brown, Beyonce, Drake numbers on road, but they'll still be doing good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm pretty confident they can sell out almost anything. They have a lot of fans across the different age ranges. You know
True,
what I
mean? But you have to understand who's really going to concerts now, though.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
It's not that they wouldn't do numbers, but a lot of times their fans are a lot older, right?
They can't make it out, right?
It's not us. But yeah, so moving along though with the whole cult, like another artist that I said Cole, I said Big Crit, I said Currency, Young Boy, Badass. This is just off the top of my head. Obviously, there's more people. Another artist, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Right? He was an artist. Nipsey is a phenomenal artist, and I feel like people really, unfortunately, people really started to pay attention to his music when he passed away. I'm not saying like I'm talking about mainstream media, right? Because people that knew about Nipsey knew about the Crenshaw mixtape. They knew about that. They knew about Mailbox Money and stuff like that. They knew about all his other albums and mixtapes before. But that was more for his like dedicated fans. It was more for his dedicated fans. Mainstream media didn't really pick up on him until after he passed away. Right? Until after his untimely and unfortunate death.
And that happens all too much in hip hop. Just
yeah.
You know, you gotta
Victory Lap should have won that Grammy. Victory Lap was an amazing album. Status Symbol, then you had the other one, Status Symbol 2. All the Status Symbols he did with Buddy are pretty great. There's 3 parts to Status Symbol. 1, 2, and 3. All of them are great.
Yeah, Nipsey kept it pretty underground.
Kept it pretty underground, but man, his music was dope, man. If you really listen, if you go back and check out his catalog, he had great music. Like I said, it's just unfortunate that not a lot of people got in tune with his music until after he passed away. Another artist, also Dom Kennedy. That's another artist who I'm a big fan of. Once again, low key. Not a lot of, like, he's not out there on the radio as much, but has a lot of mixtapes and has a good cult-like following. And Trey the Truth, like another artist you mentioned too. Trey the Truth as well. He doesn't have a lot of big commercial records, but he's out there with the following for sure.
Yeah, he's got Trey Day.
Exactly. He has a lot. And he's well respected. When you look at the numbers as well, numbers, you have artists right now who are hot. And when I say numbers, when we say numbers, we're not discrediting them as an artist. We're just saying that these are the guys who have just been blowing up with mainstream success as of lately. You know, because they had that one record that just took them off. You see what I'm saying? Like another artist that comes to mind is DaBaby, right? DaBaby's been out for a minute. Like he had stuff out from I think like 2017, even earlier, possibly, right? He's been out, but when did he really blow up and have like huge success? When he dropped Suge. Suge was off a mixtape. Suge was off, oh my goodness, Baby Talk 3, I believe. I think. Yeah, I think it was Baby Talk, something like that. I know he had Blank Blank that came out in 2018. And that's another, Blank Blank was another dope mixtape. He didn't take off yet. Like he was getting some buzz off Blank Blank because he had the song Blank Blank 21, which is a dope record as well. He had a couple other stuff there too, but he didn't really take off until he dropped Suge. I'm sorry, did I say? It wasn't off Baby Talk. I'm sorry. My apologies. It was off Baby on Baby. Let me look this up so I don't make an ass out of myself.
See, the thing is though with that,
let me look this up.
With an artist popping, like getting their success from a mixtape, from a record that was on a mixtape.
It was Baby on Baby. Thank you. I was right. I'm sorry. I'm stripping. Yeah, Baby on Baby is when Suge came out with that on Baby on Baby. And that's when he took off. Like that record took him off. But not a lot of people didn't know about Pony. People didn't know about the records he did with Homie Quan, Celebrate. Not a lot of people knew about Babysitter and other stuff. Well, Babysitter more so probably got more looks at it just because you had like Offset, who has mainstream success. You know what I mean? But yeah, Baby was putting out some fire from before, but not a lot of people knew about it. Same thing with Lil Baby. Lil Baby, who's an artist who right now is having a lot of commercial success, and he's a great artist too. But he was putting out stuff from before, but not a lot of people knew about him until he put out My Dog. And I think that record, he started getting buzzed. That's when he kind of took off from that record. Yes, indeed, when he had that Drake, he did that track with Drake, that's when it was like, oh, that's when everyone started paying attention to him. Like, oh, shoot, he's nice. You know what I mean? Who else? Another artist doing numbers, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj does stupid numbers. Now, it is fair to point out that she also does have a cult following of the bars.
Of bars. But she's one of those artists, I feel like, with Nicki Minaj, you know what? For Nicki, let's say this. I'm gonna say, actually, no, hold on. I'm gonna get back to Nicki because there's something I want to tie in with that. Artist who's really dope, Roddy Ricch. He's doing numbers, but a lot of people are starting to recognize Roddy Ricch because he had the box. That took him to another stratosphere.
He's
right
been
now.
around a long time before
Right?
that.
But Roddy Ricch was putting out Die Young. That's a banger. Down Below, like he had stuff when he was just shooting his videos in the hood where I feel like I like his, and don't get me wrong, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial is a great album, but I like his older stuff too. I think I prefer some of his older music as well. But he's like one of those people who not a lot of people knew about him until he had the box and he just,
I think he's in that point now
skyrocketed.
where he's transitioning out of being underground into being mainstream.
100%. You already did transition. Man, the box was streamed over 1 billion times. It doesn't get much more mainstream than that, you know. But he's one of those artists where, yo, I mean, you gotta salute it, and he's doing great. Who else? Meg Thee Stallion. She's been out for a while, but she's another person who's doing numbers now. Who you put her on the track and it's doing numbers, right? But she was also an artist who's been out for a bit too. Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people know about Tina Snow. They don't know about that tape she did called Tina Snow and stuff like that, Freak Nasty and stuff like that. Not a lot of people know about those records or know about those tracks. But she kind of had that cult-like following from before. And that's the thing. Let me ask you this though. That's the thing. Do you feel like, because this is gonna tie back into the Nicki Minaj thing, do you feel like for female artists who are more so
underground,
like, do you feel like for them to go pop, or do you feel like they have to go pop or maybe do more sex appeal like videos, like more sexy videos and stuff like that for them to actually start doing numbers? Because I feel like that's what Nicki was doing.
Well, I mean, I'm interested to know how long she's had her cult following of the Barbs.
Nicki was doing stuff from like, no, the Barbs.
That didn't come till later, right?
Yeah, the Barbs didn't
Yeah.
exist with. There was no such thing known as the Barbs when she was doing Beat Me Up, Scotty. When she was doing tracks with Jadakiss, remixing and doing it well. Oh, y'all didn't know that, right? All right.
Okay.
So, but Barbs came along when she did like Pink Friday and stuff like that. That's the thing. She was doing like radio records. You feel what I'm saying? Like Super Bass is a radio record.
Yeah,
You know
super
what I mean?
bass, man.
Super stupid. Super Bass, stuff like that. Moment for Life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That's what it is. Even you look at, go ahead.
No, back to the question. So you think it's
Well, when you think about this, look at Tink, right? That's another dope artist who is underground. And Tink can sing and rap her ass off. That's an artist who can sing and rap her ass off. But she doesn't get the airtime. And she puts out good music.
Right.
Great music. Hopeless Romantic, solid. Pain and Pleasure, the EP, solid. Winter's Diary, those mixtapes, Winter's Diary 3 and Winter's Diary 4, dope, man. Good records, great records, but she doesn't get that recognition for it, right? I think the only, like, she had a radio single, Million, where she remixed the Aaliyah single, but I feel like she's one of the artists who just don't get the recognition she deserves, and she's more seen as underground. But she's not really one of those artists to be out here, like, she's not one of those artists that are out here twerking and shaking ass. You see what I mean? They're not wearing, like, certain clothing. Right? Same thing with Rhapsody. Rhapsody is another artist who spits. She's a female artist who spits fire. But once again, she's not out here, you know, popping and shaking and stuff like that. She's more reserved. She's gonna hit you with some bars. And with that mean rap flow. You feel me? So that's the thing, like, they have strong fan bases, like cult-like fan bases, but they don't do the numbers like that. And it's unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Yeah, I guess when you're gonna be so reserved, you really only have your fan base as far as your numbers are concerned.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The thing
really
is, what do you think is better though, cult-like or the numbers?
I think cult-like, man.
Because you feel like the cult with cult-like following, those fans will never die.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, eventually they will. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
you can really never fall off unless you sell out, right?
Yeah, they'll never really fall off. They'll never really fall off. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, if Currency comes now, I don't care if Currency doesn't make music, God, knock on wood, God forbid, but if Currency weren't to make an album, weren't to make a mixtape for like 2 years, he could still come to Toronto and there'd be people lining up to go see him. I know I'd be one of them for sure. Just because of his catalog and that real fan base. Because when you feel like those cult-like followings, those artists put out music that people really connect to. And I think that's one thing that some artists tend to overlook. They're not putting out music that their artists can connect to. You know what I mean? A lot of times you hear people say, man, I miss the old whatever, when they were hungry, when you can hear it, right? You can hear it. When the artist is first coming out, you can hear it. You can hear where they're hungry. We can hear where they're like they're spitting some mean shit. You feel me? Like they're really trying to take niggas' heads off. You know what I mean? And then they some artists get big and it's like
they get soft, man.
Soft, and it's like what is this?
And that initial hunger, that's where you establish your core fan base.
You know what I mean?
All your entire core fan base was there for that.
Right. And then next thing you know, some artists get big and you're hearing them on like, daytime television, radio shit. It's like, what? What is this? What?
Hold up.
Wait a minute. But yeah, man, I mean, that's just our take. That's just a little quick take on the situation. Cult-like following versus numbers. Y'all let us know. I mean, like I said, there's pros and cons. Obviously, with the sales, it's money, right? It's money. But a lot of times, some of those artists that are doing numbers, some, not all, like I said, because some of the artists that are doing big numbers right now are not in that gimmicky category. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But some of those artists are seen as like artists who aren't gonna last. Like I said, like this ties back into 6ix9ine. Like he's an artist who was doing numbers, but he was doing a lot of things for shock value. But that boy can't
clout chasing
like I ain't gonna cuss, but I was going to clout chasing like crazy. But he's one of those artists where you can't leave your house, and no one really respects him. But he's doing numbers. You feel what I'm saying?
That's it. That's all he's got, man.
That's all he's got. That's all he's got. But like the true core fan base, he will never have that. Absolutely not. He will never have that.
And that's the thing. Without that, man, as soon as you're not the hot thing anymore, you're gone. You can go out of style. You can fall off. It's a lot of these more underground artists that have been around for a while. The only thing keeping them from falling off is their core fan base.
Right.
That's a solid foundation. You cannot fall if you have that.
100%. 100%. I think another artist like that has a core fan base, Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz Khalifa, okay, Taylor Gang,
right? Wiz Khalifa hasn't really been putting out a lot of like commercial, right? I think the last thing he did was he's been doing some mixtapes though, right? I think the last thing he did was Fly Times Volume 1. That was a great mixtape. That's not an album. That wasn't an album. That was just like a playlist, kind of a mixtape. That was a dope mixtape. But he's one of those artists, same thing. He doesn't necessarily have to come out with music videos or commercial records and stuff like that because he has a cult like fan base. Because he was doing stuff with Currency from way back years ago. And that's kind of how I found out about Currency.
Started with Wiz?
Was because of Wiz Khalifa. Because I was like, my cousin was bumping Wiz Khalifa, and then I was like, oh, who's Currency? And that's how I found out about Currency.
Shout out to Wiz Khalifa. You a gateway drug, nigga.
Yeah.
That's a double entendre, actually.
Oh my God, here we go. But yeah, that just ties into it, right? He's one of those artists where he doesn't necessarily have to do that. Like he had a big commercial record like Black and Yellow, but he hasn't really had a record like Black and Yellow yet. Do numbers like
On My Level was another.
Was Taylor Gang more like that? No, I don't think was Taylor Gang like that.
No, On My Level.
Oh yeah, On My Level, yeah. But like I said, he hasn't had any like big commercial records like Black and Yellow since then, right? But he's still doing good numbers. He's one of those artists that can still tour just because of, like I said, his mixtapes and his fan base that he had from way back. He's had a strong fan base.
Yeah, and they know where to find him.
And they know where to find him, and he caters to them. And that's another thing. That's why some of the artists, that's another thing for your artists to have success. You got to cater to your core fan base. Don't worry about the new fan base because those average fair weather fans, they don't matter.
They're here, then they're gone.
They're here, then they're gone. They're going to hear the next hot thing and then the next hot dance and then they're going to start, doing whatever that's trendy. But your core fan base, when you feed them, when you cater to them and cook them that good food, that good audio food, that's what's gonna keep you alive and keep you afloat, no matter what.
Damn, up and coming artist, man. Listen to this stuff. It's good stuff to know.
Yo, once again, man, it's just opinionated nonsense, whatever you want to call it. It's just our take on it. But yo, if it's blessed, you already know it's the FNS. It's your man Junis. My boy D Knight.
Yes, sir.
Friendly Neighborhood Savage Gang, man. Y'all be good.